boys and girls, so my name is Miss Oates and I am going to be teaching you the steps of solving a word problem. So we're going to be focusing on standard 208-1, which is mostly word problems. So go ahead and take out a sheet of notebook paper and a pencil and follow along with me. All right, so first off, a word problem or a story problem, as you may know them, is basically a math story, and there's a problem. So you know how we read books or fiction books and we learn about characters and setting and how our main character always has a problem that we need to solve? Well, word problems are very similar to that. It's a story and there's a problem that we have to solve using our minds and our mathematical thinking. So we're going to be going over the steps of solving a word problem, and it helps to think like a spy, because a spy has to look for clues to help solve a problem. So if you think like a spy, you can look for the clues to help find the ways to solve a word problem. And how we will solve word problems is using the acronym CUBE. So you know how a cube is a three-dimensional shape. CUBES is also spelled C-U-B-E-S. And each one of those letters stands for a way for us to solve word problems. So our first step that we're going to do is C. We're going to circle the numbers. Then U, we're going to underline the question. Then B, we're going to box in the clue words. And then E, we're going to eliminate the extra information by crossing it out, and we're going to evaluate the problem. Then S, we're going to solve the problem and check your work. But before we get to the CUBES method, I want us to spend a little time talking about B, boxing in the clue words. So when we're practicing addition and subtraction, in a word problem, there are clues that tell us whether we're going to be adding or subtracting. So right now, I want you to take out your sheet of notebook paper, and we're going to draw a T-chart. So first off, we're going to draw a line down the middle, and it doesn't have to be straight, doesn't have to be perfect. And then we're going to draw a line along the top. And on one side of our chart, we're going to write addition words. Like that. And you can even put a plus sign to show you that you're adding. And then we're going to write subtraction words. And then we can put a minus sign in the corner to show that we're subtracting. So go ahead and take a minute and do that. So you're going to write addition words and subtraction words. Now on the next slide, I'm going to have some words over here on the screen. We're going to sort those words out on whether they tell us that we need to add or subtract in a word problem. So as I'm sliding over the word to the correct category, I want you to jot it down underneath the correct category. Okay, so like for example, if I ask you to write takeaway, well, we know with takeaway, we're going to be subtracting. You would write takeaway under the screen like that. And if I'm going too fast, it is okay. You will just simply pause the video and catch up whenever you can. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to be doing addition versus subtraction, what the clue words tell us what we need to be doing if we're going to be adding or subtracting. So our first word is takeaway. In that example that I gave you, we said takeaway would mean that you're subtracting. So I'm going to drag takeaway underneath subtraction. Our next word is remains. What do you think remains would be? Addition or subtraction? Well, if I'm taking away something and I want to know how much remains, that means I'm going to be subtracting. All right, minus. Well, I know the minus sign, which is that straight line, is used for subtracting. All right, we have less than. If something is less than something, if 6, what is less than 6, means I'm going to be subtracting. Ooh, total. So if you think about going to Walmart or the grocery store, and as you're checking out, you get your total, that's how much your whole bill is going to be. Are you adding or subtracting? You're going to be adding to find that. Together, so think about if you were making a necklace, you have 7 yellow beads and 8 blue beads. How many are you going to have all together? Together would be addition. Sum. Sum is another way to say that you're adding up. Ooh, plus. Well, we know a plus sign is like the little cross, so that means we're going to be adding. All right, increase. Increase. I'm thinking that is adding, so I'm adding up. How much more? When I'm reading how much more in a word problem, it usually means that I'm subtracting. In all. In all is very similar to total and together. They want to know how much is there in all. So I'm going to slide in all underneath adding. Addition, excuse me. How many more? Again, how many more would be asking, like, how many more apples versus grapes than do I have? So I'd be subtracting to solve that problem. Whoops, hold on. Okay, combined, so how many do I have combined together? That would be addition, combining the cookies and stuff like that. Fewer than, okay, fewer than, let me see. If somebody has fewer than something than I do, then I would probably be subtracting. Both, okay, so if I'm thinking about my sister and myself, we both got $4. How many do we have all together? Both would be addition. Slide it over there. Then we have fewer. Fewer. I think fewer would go as subtraction. Okay. All together. Make all together a little bit bigger. All together, when I'm finding how much there is all together, that means I'm going to be adding. Slide all together over here. And then finding the difference usually means that I'm subtracting. And we have one more, and that's add. Add is pretty easy because in the word addition, I can see add right there. All right, so go ahead and pause the video right here for a second, boys and girls, and finish writing this chart. All right, so now that we have our clue words sorted out, we're going to take what we've learned so far and we're going to use the cubes method to walk through a couple of word problems. Now, today, boys and girls, we're actually not going to solve these word problems. So we're not going to do S. We're just going to be breaking apart C, U, B, and E. All right, so let's go ahead and read this word problem together. So as I'm reading, I want you to read. And it's important that you read a word problem at least once before you start marking all over it. All right, so Sam has 10 apples. His mom gives him some more apples. Now Sam has 16 apples. How many apples did Sam's mom give him? Now that I've read my word problem once, I'm going to go ahead and take out my pencil because my pencil is going to help be my magnifying glass to help me eliminate some of these clues. So the first step in cubes is to circle the number. So I'm going to go back over the word problem again, and as I'm reading, I'm going to circle whatever number words I see. Now, my number words can be in digits, but they can also be in word form, boys and girls, so it's important to pay attention. So it says, Sam has 10 apples. Well, there's the number 10, so I'm going to circle that. His mom gives him some more apples. No numbers there. Now Sam has 16 16 apples. Well, there's the number 16. I'm gonna go ahead and circle the number 16. All right, how many apples did Sam's mom give him? All right, there's no numbers in that one, so I'm finished with C. All right, U is going to be underline the question. Well, I'm gonna go back through and I'm gonna read this word problem one more time, and I'm going to underline a question. Now, how am I going to know it's a question? Well, questions usually end with a question mark. So Sam has 10 apples, that's a period, so it's not a question. His mom gives him some more apples, that also ends with a period, so that's not a question. Now Sam has 16 apples, period. Again, that's not a question. How many, wait, how many, that's a question word right there. Apples did Sam's mom give him? Oh, there's that question mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna underline this entire question right here. All right, so I'm done with this. All right, so now I'm on to B, and I'm gonna select a different color, and we have box in the clue words. Okay, so those clue words, boys and girls, are these words that I've just gone over. So I'm gonna be looking for some of these words right here, such as total, both, together, some, all together, plus, add, increase, in all, combined. For subtraction, I'm gonna be looking for take away, fewer, remains, minus, less than, how much more, how many more, or fewer than. So I'm gonna be looking for words like these. These words are gonna tell me whether I'm gonna be adding or subtracting to solve the word problem. All right, so Sam has 10 apples. His mom gives, oh, that's a clue word. I'll box that in. Gives him some more apples. So she gives him some more. Now Sam has 16 apples. How many apples did Sam's mom give him? Again, box in, gives him, and how many? All right, so now that I've done C, U, and B, I'm gonna do E, which is eliminate the extra information. So what that means is I'm gonna take my black marker and I'm gonna cross out whatever I have not circled, boxed, or underlined. That's stuff that I just don't need to know. Those are like the filler words that may confuse me when it comes to solving this word problem. So I'm gonna cross out Sam has apples. His mom gives him, so him some apples. Now Sam has blank apples. All right, and then I'm not going to cross out anything in my question because my question is important. So let me switch back to my pen. And I'm gonna look at what I've eliminated. So it says Sam has 10 apples. His mom gives him some more apples. 16, so now he has 16 total apples. How many apples did Sam's mom gives him? Well, looking at the gives and the more, that means Sam was handed some more apples. So now he has a total of 16. So 16 is gonna be my biggest number. Well, when I'm evaluating this problem, I'm thinking about how did Sam get 16 apples? Did his mom add some apples or did she take away some apples? I'm gonna think to myself, what would be the best way to solve this? Now, we're not gonna solve this word problem today, but if I had to take a guess, I would say I would subtract the 16 apples that Sam has now. And I would take away the 10 apples that he has at the beginning to see how many apples his mom gave him. And then 16 minus 10, excuse me, would be 6. So, like I said, we're not gonna talk about how to solve the word problem quite yet. We're just using the clues and the numbers to help figure out what we would need to do. What would be our next step? All right, are we ready for another one? Let's do one more. All right, here's a good one. So let me go ahead and I'm just gonna read this word problem one time. There are 17 players on a team. There are 9 girls. The rest of the players are boys. How many boys are on the team? All right, so let me go ahead and start using the cubes method to help figure out this word problem. All right, C is circle the numbers. So there are 17 players. 17 is a number on a team. There are 9 girls, all right, 9. The rest of the players are boys. How many boys are on the team? All right, I circled all my numbers. Okay, let me underline the question. There are 17 players on a team. There are 9 girls. The rest of the players are boys. How many boys are on the team? I'm gonna go ahead and underline that last sentence because that is where my question is. Okay, now it's time to box in the clue words. There are 17 players on a team. There are 9 girls. The rest, I'm boxing rest, that's a clue word, of the players are boys. How many boys are on the team? All right, so I did B. Now I need to do E. So I'm gonna take my black marker and I'm gonna cross out whatever is not circled, boxed in, or underlined. So there are players on a team. There are girls, let's see, boys. Okay, so now that I've done that, let me go back through. I've circled my numbers, I've underlined the question, I have boxed in the clue words, and I have eliminated the extra information. Now what I would be doing is I would look at my information that I have and I would be evaluating. I would be deciding if I need to add or subtract to find my answer. All right, let's do one more. Okay, so let's look at this one. We're gonna read it one time through before we start the cubes. Liz has 7 red pencils and 7 green pencils. How many pencils does Liz have? Okay, so now I'm going to do C, which is circle my numbers. So Liz has 7 red pencils and 7 green pencils. All right, did my numbers. Now let's do U, underline the question. Well, my question is going to be my last sentence. How many pencils does Liz have? And then B is going to be box in the clue words. Now, boys and girls, it says Liz has 7 red pencils and 7 green pencils. So I'm gonna box in and, because that's an important clue word right there. And then how many pencils does Liz have? So I'm going to box in how many pencils does Liz have. So they want me to find the total number of pencils that Liz has. Now I'm going to take my black marker and I'm going to cross out all the information that is not circled, underlined, or boxed in. So Liz has red pencils, green pencils. All right, and then I'm going to sit back and I'm going to evaluate what do I need to do to solve this problem. So Liz has 7 red pencils and 7, and they want to know how many pencils she has all together. So that would be the total. I think I'm going to be adding to find that answer. And again, I wanted to solve it quickly. 14 total pencils. All right, boys and girls, that is it for today. Hopefully you'll be able to use the cubes method to figure out how to solve word problems.